What's up, guys? Lexi here. I guess I can say that this is my first official YouTube video. If you've found your way to this video, whether it was through my Facebook post, my Instagram post, or you just happen to find it on YouTube, which would be awesome, please feel free to, like, comment, share it, and subscribe. I've always wanted to be able to say that. I'm going to be using this YouTube channel to be posting hopefully every day or at least a few times a week, a little bit of a quick yoga flow just for you guys to do. If you're a kiddo watching this, for you guys to do, you can do some yoga. And if you're a parent, this is going to be a super awesome little yoga flow for your kids to do. It's crazy. This is actually something I've always been kind of thinking about doing since I was a lot younger, and I would always find these excuses like, oh, I don't have the right camera, or I don't have the right phone, or I don't know how to edit it, or I don't know how to use blah, 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 blah. Figured it was finally time to kind of just go after it, to start doing it, So here I am doing it, and today we are actually going to be doing our first little yoga flow. Before I start teaching all these different classes and flows, I think that it's very important to know just a little bit more about yoga. Nothing too crazy. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, there were these ancient yogis who used to kind of just observe all the different things around them, like the different trees, the different plants, the animals, the sounds they made, and the movements they did. So the ancient yogis, they used to kind of mimic or imitate or copy the different movements of all those animals and trees. And trees, if you think about it, the way they moved in the wind, and the animals, the different movements they had, and all of that kind of stuff. They ended up noticing that just like those animals and those plants and all of nature, really, we can move our bodies in the same way. So now that you know kind of where yoga came from and what it really stemmed from, it's really important to know, I guess, some of the things it can help us with. I've learned personally that it can help me with pretty much everything I've ever had an issue with, and I'm sure that it would do the same for you. But yoga overall can really, really, really help exercise our brain, exercise our mind, and on top of that, our bodies. We get stronger, we get more flexible. We also get to practice our breathing because we don't think about it too much. It's something we do involuntarily, which means not really on purpose, and we don't really notice that we're doing it. We inhale, we exhale, blah, 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 and we just go on with our day. But there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot it can help us with. It can help us out if we're stressed out or we feel angry or sad. Our breathing can help kind of calm us down. So what I want you guys to get from this video is that while you're watching it, try not to think too much about anything at all. Just try to think about this moment. While you watch this video, I'm gonna have you do something super crazy called setting an intention. So an intention is kind of gonna be a goal for what you want to get out of this video. So if you want to do yoga to feel happy, you're going to say, I am happy. If you want to do this yoga class to feel a little bit more flexible or a little bit stronger, you're going to say, I am strong or I am flexible. And you're going to say that to yourself when you start to feel distracted. If you feel like your mind is thinking about something else, that's when you're going to remind yourself, I am flexible, I am strong, or I am happy. And you're going to use that intention to make sure that you stay totally in the moment while we do this yoga class, because I know you can do it. We're going to do this together. All right, guys, so the first thing I need you to do is to go back to that intention that you were thinking about earlier, whether it was, I am happy, I am strong, or I am flexible. And the first thing I want you to do right now is to just think about it. Take a deep breath, inhaling through your nose, and think about it. And now I want you to say it out loud 3 times. You can scream it at the top of your lungs if you want. So just like this, I'll do it with you guys. Remember, we don't have to be saying the same thing. I'm going to be saying I am happy, but you can say whatever you want. But on the count of 3, we're going to scream it out loud, okay? 1, 2, 3. I am happy. I don't think that was loud enough. I I don't think I could hear you. So we're gonna go ahead and do it again. Okay, on the count of 3, we'll do it together. Even louder this time. 1, 2, 3. I am happy. Okay, now we're talking. That one was a little bit louder, but I still think you can get a little louder. So this time, I'm not gonna say it with you. This is gonna be all you, and you're gonna scream it at the top of your lungs, and I wanna be able to hear you through the screen, okay? 1, 2. Whoa, guys, that was really, really, really loud. That is exactly what I needed to hear. Now that you've got that in your mind, I don't want you to forget it the whole entire time we're doing this fun little yoga float today, okay? It's gonna stay there, it's gonna be stuck in your brain. Now that we've got that intention all figured out, what we're gonna do is start to think about the way that we breathe. We normally don't focus on it too much. We just inhale, exhale, and have a completely normal day. But right now, what I want you to do is slow down your inhale. So when you breathe in, take your time with it. I'll do it with you. And when you breathe out, same thing, just take your time. As you inhale, I want you to feel your breath. Feel it go all the way through your tummy, your chest, your throat, all the way up, and also all the way down. And I want you to do that 3 times. I want you to focus on the way that you're breathing, because if you slow down your breathing, you also get to slow down your mind. So if you're thinking about way too many things at one time, or you feel like this is happening and this is happening and this is happening and this is happening, if you just slow your breathing down, you can also slow all that thinking down. So now that you've taken 3 deep breaths, what we're gonna do is start to use our body while we breathe. So we're gonna take an inhale to sweep our arms all the way up to the sky. So you feel like you could reach all the way up and grab a cloud. And we're gonna do that while we inhale. And while we're breathing out or exhaling, we're gonna bring our hands back down. Just like that. We're gonna do this 4 more times, together, of course. So we breathe in to bring our arms up. We breathe out to bring our arms down. All right, let's do one more. Really, really, really big. Grab a cloud if you want one. I'm gonna bring one down. And exhale, let's bring our hands down. And now, of course, we gotta shake that out. That exercise that we just did is actually super easy to do anywhere at any time. All you have to do is just breathe in to bring your arms up and breathe out to bring them down. And that is actually called mountain breath. And the way I think about it, or I remember it, is I think about a mountain. When you look at one, it kind of makes like this triangle, right? So when your arms come up, that's the top of the mountain. And when they come down, those are the 2 sides of your mountain. That's how I think about it, at least. But if there's an even better way to think about it, let me know. You know, we got the comments now since this is a YouTube video. The next thing I want you guys to do is we're gonna take our hands, wiggle our fingers just a little bit, and we're gonna place them on our knees. And we're just gonna start to make some really, really big circles with our upper body. So our upper body is gonna be like our tummy, our chest, our shoulders, our head, our neck. And notice how maybe we feel a little bit tight. You feel a little bit sore. You're like, whoa, I feel like I just woke up this morning. This is gonna be really, really, really good to open all that up. And then make sure when you do this, you take it around in both directions. We have to keep ourselves balanced. We can't have one thing going this way and the other thing going this way and nothing's meeting in the middle. So we're just gonna go ahead and take a couple more circles of that. And we're gonna bring it right back into center. However you're feeling, those are 2 super awesome poses to do. And they're very, very simple. They're super good for a beginner, even though pretty soon you guys are gonna be doing like one-handed handstands running all over the place. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We're taking this 1 step at a time. But one thing I really want to teach you guys is something called a sun salutation. So if you're watching this from Florida, where I am, we definitely have to say thank you to the sun, because literally it's out every single day bringing us sunshine and happiness. So there has to be some way for us to show our appreciation. And there is. So for a sun salutation, you're actually going to have to stand up. So that's kind of exciting. We're going to make our way all the way onto our feet, just like this. So we're going to start our sun salutation in a pose called mountain pose. And I know we just did that mountain breathing, but this is a little bit different because we're actually not moving. We're going to come to stand on both of our feet, bring our hands by our sides, and just breathe in and out as we normally would. And if you're on a yoga mat, you're going to go all the way over to the front of your mat, just like this. And this is where we're going to start our sun salutation. From this mountain pose, we're going to sweep our arms all the way up to the sky, almost as if you were reaching for the sun. And to make it even more fun, why don't you just look up and scream, "I love you, sun." All right, do it on 3, because I feel like you're not doing it. Let's count to 3 and we'll do it together, okay? 1, 2, 3. I love you, sun. So our hands are reaching up as we're breathing in, but while we're breathing out, we're gonna go ahead and fold all the way over, bending right at our hips. We're gonna reach towards the ground. Take our hands and we're gonna place them flat on the ground, and we're gonna step both of our feet back so that we're making a plank position with our body. So our back is flat and our hands are right underneath our shoulders. And from here, the next step, we're just gonna plop all the way onto our belly. You're probably thinking that at some point we're gonna have to get back onto our feet, right? So in order to do that, we're gonna bring our hands right by our shoulders. We're gonna press our body all the way off the floor using our big, strong muscles, moving into a pose called upward facing dog. So if there's such thing as upward facing dog, doesn't there have to be such thing as downward facing dog? You guessed it, there totally is. So before we get there, the first thing we're gonna do is press our hips back, and we're gonna find ourselves in a pose called tabletop. So I love this pose because it's really funny. If you were doing it with your friends, you could totally take a piece of paper and write on their back. But we're gonna bring our hands right underneath our shoulders so we're in a straight line like this. And then the same thing with our knees. We're gonna bring them right underneath our hips so it's a straight line like that. And before we finish off that sun salutation, I want to show you 2 other poses called cat and a cow pose. These poses are super good to do if maybe your back's hurting a little bit or you're just bored and you want something fun to do. So the first one we're gonna do is called cow pose. We're gonna tuck our toes under just like this. We're gonna drop our belly button as almost if it was reaching towards the floor. We're gonna look up at the sky and take a deep breath in. And this is cow pose. When you do cat pose, you're gonna breathe out, release your feet, round your back like a scared black cat on Halloween, and tuck your chin all the way in towards your chest. And again, when you breathe in, we move it right back to this pose. You could totally meow and moo while you move through the poses. We're gonna do them 3 times together. So we inhale, we breathe in, and we come into a cow pose. We exhale, we release, and we go all the way into cat pose. So this time, let's have a little bit more fun with it. Let's go moo. And you already know what's coming. Meow. All right, one more time. Moo. And meow. And now you know 2 more yoga poses than you did just a few minutes ago. So as I was talking about earlier, we have to get into downward facing dog somehow. And in order to do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck our toes just like this. We're gonna lift our knees all the way up, and we're gonna press our chest back towards our thighs. So you should almost be making a triangle with your body. And you know, this pose, you don't have to focus too much on if your heels are all the way up or they're all the way down, but you do just want to press your chest back towards your thighs so that you're making a triangle. And the most important thing to do while you're in this pose is to make sure you're smiling. I'm telling you, it's the most important thing. So we're not going to stay here for too long just because I know it gets a little bit tiring, especially if we're new to yoga. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk our feet all the way to meet our hands, coming right back to the top of the mat. Now that we've made it to the top of the mat, we're going to bring our hands to our shins. We're going to stretch out our back, making it nice and flat, and take a big breath in. And when we breathe out, we're going to forward fold and reach all the way towards the ground. And you might notice that your knees might be a little bit bent or your hands aren't as close to the ground yet, but that's totally okay. We all have to start somewhere, and we're going to get even better as we keep going. The next step in finishing off this sun salutation, we're going to bring our arms all the way back up again. Ooh, tiki hut. And then we're going to bring them right down by our sides. And just like that, you've completed your first sun salutation. So that is something super duper duper common in yoga, but a sun salutation is super good for warming you up for the rest of the poses that you're going to do in a yoga class. Whether it's the super hard ones, just pretty much all of them. So I think we need to shake off that sun salutation a little bit. So we're just going to shake it a little bit. We're going to spin it in a circle, just like that. So that's going to be all the different poses we're going to be doing for today's episode. So we learned awesome poses like the mountain breathing exercise, we learned cat and cow, and we even learned a sun salutation. And within that sun salutation, we learned mountain pose, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and even a forward fold. So look at that. You have 6 new poses at least to be practicing or doing whenever you feel like it. But today's poses we kept pretty simple, but there's definitely a lot of fun stuff coming your way. We've got all different types of animal poses to learn, and even more than animals, we have things like airplanes and trees and all different sorts of crazy stuff that we're going to be learning if you guys keep hanging out with me. So I know today might have felt a little bit simple, but that's totally okay. We have to learn the basics before we can learn the crazy stuff. I do really just want to say thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for watching. I can't believe this is my first YouTube video ever. I'm still totally learning how to work YouTube, how to set up my camera, where to set up my camera, how to put in cool inserts, but I promise I'm going to educate myself because I want to make this experience the best that I can for you guys because I think you're awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe, you guys. I really do appreciate all of your support, and I hope that you guys are all back for when I post my next video, which should be super duper soon.